Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast for the Rewind show, where we look forward to looking back at some of the last times we played this weekend's upcoming opponents. Hello, my name is Craig Fimbo. This is the Rewind show, where we look back at the last time we played this weekend's upcoming opponents in the top flight, although I don't really think many times we played them not in the top flight, and also a match or two from the not-so-distant past. Joining me for the first instalment of your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Blue Monday build-up to Tottenham, or Tottingham, is David Diamond. How are you going, Dave?
Hi, Craig. I'm all right, thank you. I'm very good. Yeah, when we were sort of first sat down to do these things, again, this was another one of those sort of standout games, Tottenham away. As we said in the green room before the start, unfortunately, I won't be there. I'm way out to Dubai, actually, just as we kick off for a work trip. So I know you'll be there. So hopefully it'll be a fantastic occasion. No doubt it'll be a fantastic occasion with a positive result, let's say.
Let's hope so. Not having been to White Hart Lane a few times, hopefully there won't be as many pillars in the way. I don't think there are any pillars in the way, are there, at the new stadium?
I would have thought not. No. I would have thought not. No. I went to White Hart Lane 2 or 3 times. I went there. Yeah, certainly. Not for one of these games, but for the most recent game we're going to cover, I was certainly there that day.
Yeah, and I was there for the other one. Anyway. Behind the curtain, we're recording this on Sunday morning, the morning after the day before Leicester game, and we'll be heading back a few years, as I say, to competent refereeing like check notes Mike Riley.
There you go.
And apologies to those who are watching. I haven't been crying all night. I've got something wrong with my. I haven't been crying over yesterday's.
I have. I was going to wear my shades, but yeah, I've been weeping all night. Not really.
And as we broke last week, we have a show partnership to let everyone know about. All about hearing, Suffolk-based hearing care professionals help you out if you have any audio quality issues. allabouthearing.co.uk. Dave, it'll be your left hand. Point to the logo, please.
Oh,
thank you very much.
I always do it right. I can't left hand. I can't do it. Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. There it is. There it is.
It feels like someone else if you do it with your left hand.
Yeah.
As ever, please do comment with your own memories of these matches that we take a look at, especially if you were there. As I say, Dave was at one and I was at the other, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Give us a thumbs up, subscribe. You know the drill. And as I said, Dave, we don't tend to play Spurs very often. We certainly haven't played them very often recently. We don't tend to draw them in any cups and bits and pieces like that.
Do we? I'm struggling. Leagues aside, I'm struggling to think. I remember a thumping 3-0 back in the day with one of these games. I remember Marshall scored. We beat them at home. May have been one of these seasons, maybe a season after. But no, we just don't. So yeah, as far as I'm aware, I think we played them in a COVID behind doors friendly a few seasons back, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, I do remember.
I would have been 4 seasons ago, I think.
That was at the new stadium, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, that was, but certainly that was certainly a behind closed doors thing. So it would be a certainly occasion for us to play a proper official match at the new stadium, which by all accounts is magnificent. So I understand.
Yeah. And as we always tend to say, we're heading back to the 22nd of December 2001, and it always blows our minds. This is pretty much 23 years ago. 4 days after an English Ballon d'Or win. I know we've recently had the Ballon d'Or. I don't think anyone boycotted the 2001 Ballon d'Or awards this time around, but there was an English winner of the Ballon d'Or. Dave, do you want to have a guess of who the English winner was?
Michael Owen.
It was Michael Owen.
There we go. Threw it out there.
Brilliant stuff. Well done. Yeah. He's named best footballer in Europe. Can you believe?
Crikey. Well, I kind of get that. Which was the again, seasons, cup finals. You tell me cup finals from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Be all over it. Could tell her everything. Which final did he score the 2 brilliant goals against Arsenal? We won the game for them, didn't he? Might have been 2000, I guess, would have been. Do you remember they played at Cardiff? Liverpool were playing in their orange shirts and stuff. I think it might have been 2000. But yeah, okay, yeah. Michael Owen, yeah, he was fairly good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was at that point in time before his hamstrings started to go twang every other week. And again, we're back to the Premiership as it was known then. And we'll do the number one, Dave, but you'll remember it from last week. It was the Christmas number one from 2001.
Let me take a guess. Was it Robbie Williams and Nicole Kidman?
Oh, brilliant. Dave, you know your Christmas number ones.
I'm all over it, mate. Something stupid.
Yeah. Funnily enough, we were talking about this in the Telegram group, saying that because the fixture list that we're currently playing is not dissimilar to the fixture list as it was 23 years ago. Because
nuts.
Week after week, we're playing the same teams with the same songs in the charts and bits and pieces like that.
Really strange.
So what Gary in the Telegram group suggested we do is we look at like the number 2 or the highest climber of the week. And
give me a chance, Gazza. Give me a chance.
I don't want to, I don't want to be too closely associated with the charts and former Radio 1 DJs too much. But as it happens, I did look up the
come on then
2 and 3 in the charts. And again, these aren't particularly well known. I don't know what people were thinking of in 2001 to be buying these particular singles. You won't get them, Dave. Number 2 was "Got to Get Through This" by Daniel Bedingfield.
Well, obviously I know the song, but I wouldn't have said it was Christmas.
And number 3 was "The Daughter of a Blue Peter Presenter."
I might get this. So Sophie Ellis-Bextor with what was her what was her thing?
The Christmas song "Murder on the Dance Floor."
Murder on the Dance Floor. Was that what it was? Yeah.
So that were your top 3 Christmas singles. Well done.
Oh, there you go. How very un-Christmassy. Yeah.
There was one Christmas song in the top 20, and that was the Tweenies. Anyway, onto the table, and as we looked at last week, it wasn't particularly great viewing, to be honest. Ipswich found themselves after 17 games with 1 win and 9 points on the board.
Yeah. We were on the back of a 15-game winless run. I had a look at these. Again, I had a look at these and we knew what game he was doing, and just to sort of drill down a bit on these. And we were competitive. When you look at these, and I kind of remember about this season, it was just... We've heard this before, small margins. So in those 15 games, there was 9 defeats, 6 draws, but 7 defeats by the odd goal.
Yeah.
There was a thumping at Man U. Again, I was at that game as well, the 4-0 game at Man U. There was a thumping there. And I think we lost not long before this game. And we lost 2-0 at home to Arsenal. Henry, Bergkamp, Lundberg, I think. But, all these games we were obviously competitive. Yeah, all losing by the odd goal.
And shortly after, 2 or 3 games after the Inter Milan away game, this would have been.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So it's that sort of era, to place it in people's heads. Cover star of the week. It's unlikely you will get this because it's Father Christmas and a cockerel.
Okay, fine.
I don't know what clues I could have given you there for you to.
I wouldn't have got that probably. I might have hazarded a guess at Father Christmas, but I suppose the cockerel. Perhaps I should have associated Spurs, but no, not really.
Well, it might be a turkey. Might be a Tottenham turkey.
Could be.
Shortly after this photo was taken, he was having Father Christmas's hand up his backside with some stuff. But there is an interview with Mauricio Taricco, as the program says, and a poster of Chris Perry, of all things. So
there you go.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Right, on to the lineups for this one. Let's have a look at ourselves, as we're here to talk about us predominantly. And as you can see here, Dave, good old solid team, similar to the ones we've spoken about recently. This time we went up with a one up front in Marcus Bent. Holland. A solid 3 in midfield, Magilton, Wright and Holland. Yeah, that's right. And Roycer and Fanidi as our wide players. And good.
Yeah, again, quite attacking. I know he's only 1 up there, but quite attacking, playing both Roycer and Fanidi. I'm not surprised if you're playing those 2. You would have Holland sitting in as a shield, wouldn't you, really? Not necessarily, from our recall, known for their So work rate's a bit harsh, but perhaps tackling back and stuff. Maybe that's tracking back. Maybe that's more of a thing. But no, that's quite a nice looking lineup, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? And we spoke about it
Tasty.
last week when we spoke about Leicester, who we ended up playing the week after this, Tottenham, bizarrely enough.
Mm.
That team isn't a 9 points from 17 games.
It's not. No,
team, is it?
I think it follows that what I said earlier. You know, all these games. Obviously, there was small mark. I can recall some of these games. You know, I think the Leeds game at home was when Hart got Stewart sent off. Was it?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you know, a lot of games you're losing by odd goals. So there's obviously small margin in most of these games. Can't remember us being completely outplayed. So yeah, no, that's a solid team, isn't it? And as we've said before, well, as we alluded to last week, this was the game that was the launch pad. Well, yeah, it was the launch pad for getting us to, well, bloody hell, not long in the new year into mid-table, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Spurs, we'll have a quick look at. Some names. A very young Ledley King was there as...
Ledley, I must say about Ledley King. Do you remember fantasy football used to be on a Friday night with Max Rushton and Merce was on and stuff like that? Merson was on and stuff. Every single player that played in a team with Ledley King or associated with Ledley King named him in his team, didn't he? Incredible.
Oh, really?
They said Ledley King, his knees are horrible. Yeah, his knees were horrible. And he was this sort of guy who would basically not train during the week, come in on a Friday, do a couple of sprints, sort of thumbs up. And he said he'd go out on the Saturday, it'd just be your best player. Pretty much every single player that played with Ledley King had him in his team and said he'd have been right, you know, John Terry, Ferdinand, he'd have been right up there, if not better, like a Real Madrid, Barcelona player potentially.
Mm. Yeah.
Other interesting players there. So we've got Stefan Freund, Christian Ziege, obviously went on to Liverpool, I think, didn't he? I guess it was after that. And that's not a bad front two, is it? Oh, dear.
No, Sheringham and Sergei Rebrov as your front two, and obviously Mauricio Taricco playing.
Legend.
Playing left back, bless him.
Yeah.
In terms of the game itself, it was 2-1. We won 2-1, which was nice, but we went 1-0 down.
Yeah, I think I remember being there, and you know, obviously you're going there. This is the last game, very close to Christmas. Actually, I think it snowed this day. I don't know where I remember that, but I think it did after the game, and with not much hope, more hope than expectation, sort of thing. And they score a goal after 12 minutes. You think, oh, here we go, you know. And it's a horrible goal. Well, it's a horrible goal. It's sort of built through the midfield, and Rebrov gets the ball wide, and that's a shot, isn't it? He looks like he shanks a shot, and Davis, who originally plays the ball wide to him, is sort of meandered in the penalty box and sort of who's kind of on his own. No one went with him, and he sort of almost deflects it past. It's quite a clever finish. Deflects it past Serini, doesn't he? Almost a toe pokes it through. But that to me is not a cultured sort of cross. He's just lashing that across the box, isn't he? And he just happens to get on the end of it. But yeah, 12 minutes, 1-0 down. Yeah, after that 15-game run, you're fearing the worst. But spoiler alert.
Our Nigerian come up with the goods in what was, according to all reports, his best game for Town since Derby, which was probably in August, without checking.
That was the only game we won. That was our second game.
4 months later, he had another good game.
It's a good goal too. What a great finish this is, isn't it? It's a Roycer in swinging corner. Quite a high loopy one. I think McGreal might get a touch, or Salmon Horidison might get a touch on the near post. And it's really clever as he gets the ball. He's in quite a good position on like the edge, on an angle, so edge of the 6-yard box. Sort of bounces it off his chest, and proper goal. And it bicycle kicks it. It's a proper bicycle kick, that one, isn't it? Point blank, really. Sullivan's got no chance. Yeah, no, great finish. To be fair, you know, George, he did score some pretty decent goals. I mean, there was a chip against Sunderland. That was a great goal, great move, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember, didn't he score really quite a good one volley in Moscow as well? Didn't you? I remember that one. Do you remember that one? He scores one at Torpedo Moscow, I think.
Him and Stewart scored, didn't they?
Yeah, him and Stewart scored. Yeah, so we had. It was an odd. It was just an odd one.
He always looked a classy player, didn't he? He always, you know, he never miscontrolled it, or you know, the ball stuck to his foot. He got the ball out to him.
There's a pedigree there, wasn't it? You don't play in that Ajax team. My God, one of the greats. No, you don't play in that team without being half tasty. And he was, but I think well, anyway, I don't know what to think really. It was signing out of the blue. You think, wow, and then after that first game, you think, oh my God, we've signed the next Ballon d'Or winner. We mentioned that, didn't we? And then it didn't quite pan out. But he did score some. When he did score goals, they were usually pretty decent, to be fair.
Yeah, and obviously time has misted my memory. I didn't think it was as good a goal as it actually was in the end. Rich has kindly sent us through the goals, and I thought initially it was like a Manu Fati on his backside overhead.
No,
it wasn't. It was a proper
bicycle kick. Yeah, he's in the air and proper technical. And I say it's pretty much after he does his point blank, and Sullivan's got no chance. I mean, I suppose it was been Spurs was Hoddle manager then? No.
Yes, he was. I think he was manager. Him and Gorman were manager for.
Oh, were they? So Hoddle. Yeah, he probably wouldn't have been pleased with the defensive aspect of that goal. But no, you can't deny the finish. It's a quality finish.
Yeah, and we were still under the cosh a little bit. I think the aforementioned Christian Ziege hit the post and hit the bar from about 3 yards out. But there was a bit of fisticuffs, shall we say, in the box, wasn't there, Dave?
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that, well, obviously we were there yesterday. How often did it go on yesterday? It goes on all the time now. But I think this was proper fisticuffs. I think it was missed by the cameras, but it was McGreal and Sheringham. So clearly they have a go at each other. Clearly McGreal gets booked for it, but I assume Sheringham throws a right hander or a haymaker or something like that because it's a straight red, isn't it?
I think it's more of a forearm smash, a bit of a WWE, WWF.
The crowd are all what, and even the commentators going, "What the hell?" But yeah, he gets a straight red, which obviously helps our calls. Although I think fairly immediately he goes off and they bring on Sir Les, don't they? I think Les Ferdinand.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but so I think a forearm to the chops is how.
Was that what it was?
Describe it. Yeah.
But
as you say, even so, we're still under the cosh a little bit. They're still on top despite having only 10 men, and we just then made an attacking substitution ourselves. I think we took Magilton off and brought Alan Armstrong on, who came up with the goods right towards the end of the game, didn't he?
This is a good goal, isn't it, as well?
Good cross, isn't it?
Fanidi again, God.
Yeah.
In your fantasy team that weekend, you'd have been okay. That's certainly double figure points for him. Yeah, this sort of worked. It's worked across the midfield quite neatly, I think, to Ryderson, who absolutely laces a long old ball to the back post to Armstrong, I think. And Spurs sort of like half clear it. And Fanidi is brilliant, really. He gets it wide right, sort of level with the penalty area, doesn't he? Just takes a very quick touch out of his feet. It's a superb ball, sort of bends it in towards the near post. And it's a great finish by him. He was good in the air. He's actually, I thought, quite underrated player, Armstrong. He just gets across his man and beats Sullivan to the punch, literally, doesn't he? Sullivan's about, sort of beats him and flicks it in. And it's almost one of those, I can vaguely recall that going in. It's really happening. Well, 88th minute, what? Expected us to perhaps pick up points over Christmas against Leicester, as we covered. But maybe not here, but I'd have been quite happy with a point, but happy days when that goes in. Yeah. Brilliant finish, great cross, great finish.
Yeah, exactly that. It was great cross, great finish. I'd say from Fanidi, it's just literally one touch, turn and swing in the cross, wasn't it?
Yeah, as you said, really good substitution, brave substitution from Burley, really.
Yeah. And as you said before, Dave, that was our first win since that Fanidi derby game on August the 21st, and we were currently on December the 22nd. So incredible. September, October, November. Yeah, 4 months and a day. And our first away win since the April of the season before.
Was it really? So, of course it would have been. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the table didn't look too much more rosier, shall we say? Following the game, we were still rock bottom. But as you alluded to earlier, Dave, we had Leicester, who we spoke about last week, when Peralta and Bent scored a 2-0 win, and then the game after that was the 5-0 Sunderland game where you talked.
Well, I think just going back to that, you can tell by what I was saying earlier about just losing these games by the odd goals. A goal difference for a team as bottom, and there's only won twice in what was it, 18 games. Yeah. It's really not that bad. It's not that bad, is it, by comparison?
Yeah. No, it certainly does. Make your point for you, Dave. Right, okay, quick word from our friends at Wells, and we shall be back to talk about the 90s, the best decade.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors. your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
Thank you, Mikey. Okay, so we are now off to January 1993. So our first 92, first season in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Dave. We've been again. We've had this lady before. She was at number one in the UK, Australia, USA, Germany, and Canada with this particular song, and it was at the top of the charts for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston.
Whitney, yes.
The bodyguard theme or whatever it was.
That's
yeah,
it. You got it. It's sold 24 million copies worldwide.
She was very popular, wasn't she? What a voice! Good God. I'll always love. Yeah.
That's a lot of singles. At 24 million is still a
that's
big
a lot
number.
of units, and that is a lot of units. Yeah. I mean, she was thinking back then. She was probably the equivalent of Taylor Swift today, I guess.
Yeah.
That would have been
probably sorted out. Dear old Dolly royalties, you'd have thought as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Her nest, shall we say?
Yeah.
And in terms of, again, alluding to what Gary suggested we do in terms of what was number two, and there is no way. No. You
give me the group or the artist.
The group was Snap! ! In number two.
So, what, you've got the Power? No, not that one. Is it the same group or not?
Yes, it's
what's the other one? Snap is
Rhythm and Dancer.
Rhythm and Dancer, was that?
It was there. No, it's not that. It's Exterminate! Was it number two in the charts?
Never heard of it. I can't say I ever heard of it.
And number three in the charts. You know the song. It was by West End featuring Sybil, not Basil Fawlty's wife.
Oh, this is a good song, isn't it? What? No, go on. What is it?
The Love I Lost.
Oh, that's a great song. Yeah.
And No Limit. Too Unlimited was number four.
Too Unlimited. So I know. Yeah, certain.
Just to give you an indication.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There you go. So yes, again, everyone, what the hell were you buying in January 1993 with your record tokens that you'd been given for Christmas 1992?
With your HMV record tokens, yeah.
In terms of the league, let's get this league up.
Come on, stick this up.
Here we have it.
Whoa!
So we find ourselves in fifth. Although we played 24 games and only won 8 of them, we found ourselves in fifth in the league, Dave.
Yeah, we drew. We were certainly hard to beat. In fact, looking at that, only the top two sides had lost. Well, no, equal amount of games, just 4. Yeah,
no one had lost fewer than we had.
Incredible. I think we just came off the back of. I looked earlier, a couple of sort of by that season so far poor results. I think we'd been beaten at Oldham 2 weeks before. We played 2 away games and got beat 3-0 to a Brian Dean hat trick at Bramall Lane the weekend before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, on the back of 2 losses, and then we'd had 2 cup games, a League Cup game. Sheffield Wednesday, Steve Whitten scored 1-1, and then an FA Cup game at Tranmere the weekend before. So this was a midweek game. This was a Wednesday night. We were playing Spurs, but the previous Saturday had been a.
Oh, was that? Did you say you went to that game?
I did, yeah. FA Cup 4th round tie at Tranmere. It was, funnily enough, it was only decided the Friday before in the pub about 11:15. We thought, what are we going to do tomorrow?
You could in those days. That was great, wasn't it?
What are we going to do tomorrow? Do you fancy driving to Tranmere? Well, I'm not driving to Tranmere. Do you want to do it? All right, I'll do it. Okay. let's go to Tranmere and watch
I
Ipswich.
remember doing a very similar thing against Barnsley. So that would have been a couple of seasons before, and we're in an open away end, and it peed down with rain, and we lost 2-0. But I remember doing that, not deciding to go till, I don't think quite as a Friday evening, but late. Might have been a Friday sort of after morning, afternoon, or something. Yeah, I don't think we were quite in the pub, but yeah, it was a late decision. And coming back, trudging back in the rain after the game back to the car. Why did we do that? But, yeah.
No, this was definitely a closing time decision the night before, and then
Brilliant.
in the snow. That was snowing that day as well, actually. So there you go. That was Gwentchev and Dazelle 2-1, 2-0, 2-1. I think the clips of that. I think the goals of that are on YouTube somewhere. Anyway, by the by, program, our star of the week. We spoke about him previously for recreating Macho Man Randy Savage in the other game with his forearm smash.
Oh, Edward Sheringham.
Edward Sheringham, yes, and presumably it's from the home game.
Phil Whelan.
I reckon that is Phil Whelan. Yeah, I reckon that's. And in terms of the photo, I'm sure there's a better photo in. It doesn't put either of them in a particularly great light, but
no, not really. no. I'd say that's Phil Whelan. Yeah.
And a good old Holston sponsor.
Yeah.
So yes, and in terms of this one, people will remember at least one of the goals from this game, Dave, and it was the first of 2 goals in the space of 3 days for this particular.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
So let's get the teams up. And yeah, it's a couple of I've misspelt Neil Thompson there. Apologies to the Thompson family. I've given him an extra.
Thompson. It's so good you've named him twice.
Almost. Vlado Bozinovski made his first start for Ipswich Town. Who
I saw that and thought it must have been his full debut. Yeah,
I thought you were going to say you saw that and thought, that must be Vlado Bozinovski rather than his the other Bozinovski we had playing for us at the time. But he came in at like a double deal, didn't he, with Boncho?
He did.
From Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon. He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which were they managed by Bobby at the time?
Oh,
I think I
think they were. I think you're right. I think he was
being involved.
I think he was the conduit sort of thing. I think maybe he sort of not scouted them for us, but alerted us. I think you might be right. Yep.
Yeah. He was similar to like the Paz Tarico deal. I think Bozinovski was more of a make weight.
Yeah. One was Although I always thought the Paz Tarico deal it sort of almost occurred the other way around, because obviously Gwentchev was a bit of a folk hero, cult hero for us, isn't he? And certainly I think Tarico was very much the make weight of the Paz
translator,
deal.
Basically.
Well, he basically was, yeah. So interesting dynamics between the two there, yeah.
And Frank Gallup came in for an injured Mick Stockwell. More of him in a little while.
Oh, he would have done, yeah, of course.
In terms of Spurs, this was the managers at the time. Actually, they had Doug Livermore and Ray Clements as their joint
interim
first team manager, coach.
Interim, I'd have thought. Yeah, so you've got good old Razor at the back. So
Gary Mabbott.
Eric the Viking, Gary Mabbott, great servant, incredible servant to Spurs. Justin Edinburgh, God rest him. Yeah, Paul and Vinny Samways always thought was a nice player, left foot, neat and tidy player. Oh bloody hell, Naeem, jeez, I missed that. Darren and another good servant, and again we said before, not a bad front two. Teddy Sheringham and good old jukebox
jury.
Jukebox jury.
Because Tony Garnett mentions in his report for East Anglian that Tottenham were parading their £6 million attack, which was formed of pretty much Sheringham for 2.1. I think they'd basically what happened in the previous summer is they'd sold Gascoigne to Lazio, Lineker to where did they sell Gary Lineker to?
Grampus 8.
Grampus 8, that's right. And also Paul Stewart went to Liverpool, so they sold.
Oh crikey, yeah!
They sold an attacking.
That's a fair old
line. Got a fair whack. Yeah, got pretty much 10 million quid for them, and bought Sheringham and Anderton, who were both still there in 2001 when we spoke about the match just now. And the season before, Gordon Geary, as you say.
A season or two later is perhaps a game we should actually cover later in the season. The two of them were two of the fabled Spurs Ozzy Ardiles front five.
Yeah, Dimitrescu, was it? Ili Dimitrescu,
Dimitrescu, Klinsmann, and Barmby.
Yeah, but as you say about Gordon Geary, they bought him from Chelsea. He'd done well at Chelsea, hadn't he? In what would have been Division 2, I suppose, and got them promoted.
After Spurs, latterly Rangers, and you mentioned Gascoigne, one of the best Gascoigne stories ever. You must have heard about when him and McCoy hide the trout in his car. Have you heard that one?
Yeah,
it's an absolute beauty. Yeah.
Poor Gascoigne, everyone. What a legend.
Yeah.
And this, as I say, this was 2-0 to Ipswich, and their most exhilarating away performance of the season, according again to Tony Garnett. 0-0 at half time, Dave, but pretty soon after the restart, we go one. You're going to use the T word here, aren't you?
I've got to. Do you know what? I've written it down, and I'm glad you said that, because I think you're in the same mind, clearly, aren't you? It is an absolute. It's So it's quite a mess at first, isn't it? So it's got a high ball in the box, and I think the video does it, but Linnigan apparently, I missed that bit. Maybe it's on the video, on the caption I score the goal. Apparently Linnigan has a header cleared off the line by Allen, and then you see the next sort of piece of play where the ball is just pinballing literally around their box, isn't it? It's quite a mess, like a playground sort of bloody kids sort of football. And in the end, it's somehow it sort of rolls brilliantly out of the box to Yallo, who's sort of running in towards the box, and it is a right foot. I've got to say, it's a thronker, isn't it? This is a definition of a thronker. Absolutely catches it sweet from about 25 yards and kind of swerves away from Torsved. He's got no chance, hasn't he? In his right corner, left corner is it? Being in his to his right, top right corner. It's an absolute worldie of a strike. And his first goal in 4 seasons since the very last goal in the 5-1 Sergei Baltacha Stoke game.
Well, there you go.
Bang.
Fantastic.
Bosh.
Yeah,
Bosh.
so he pretty much scored once every 4 years, apart from this week where he scored
like buses. Yeah.
3 days.
Spoiler alert. Funny enough, the very next one of these we might be recording. We might cover what that goal.
Yeah. Maybe
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
incredible. And it'll be the same bloody number 1 at the chart. So memory test, Dave, you'll got coming up.
I'm scanning that charts from number 5 downwards.
I must admit, I thought you were going to use the other T word, the thunder. The thunder word.
Thunder. I see. No,
it does clip off the crossbar.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to have to. I'm sorry. Editorial mistake. I'm going to have to revisit it and call that.
When does
a thunder bastard?
When does a thronker become a thunder bastard?
Yeah, if it clips the bar, thunder bastard. Yeah, so I'll change that to that then. Editorial decision.
So that was 1-0, and then 2-0. The aforementioned Boncho Gwenchev gets a decent goal, but after some good work from our left-handed side combo of Gavin Johnson and Neil Thompson, and for a guy who's, and I mean this with all due respect, he wasn't the most athletically built left back, was he? Neil Thompson, he got
up and down, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could get a good, decent bit of speed up, and it's pretty much a modern day goal in that it was fed through to him and cut back from the byline, wasn't it?
Leif Davis, I would say. Leif Davis just puts it in a great position, gets to the byline. Big lad, though, when I remember Thompson, cannon of a left foot, big, wide, bloody thighs, didn't he? Massive guy. Really puts a ball in a great spot, doesn't he? Just pulls it back, round putt, just beyond the penalty spot. And then Boncho coming in, slides it past Torsved for 2-0 on 80 minutes, I think. So, job done. Brilliant result.
Yeah. Go on.
Setting us up. That's my granddaughter. My granddaughter just popped her head. Setting herself nicely up for the next weekend.
which we will cover in the next rewind show. Spoiler alert: we will be covering
we certainly will
next game, the next rewind show. In terms of in terms of the table, we actually drop a position despite winning the game because Coventry win by more goals than we did. So by virtue of that, they step above us. Equal goal difference, but they scored more goals.
We're coming into February, 6th in the table, and still in both cups.
Yeah, we did not end up in the 6th in the table. Though.
Didn't. No, we didn't.
But we can talk about that after the next game because
that's more relevant, isn't it? Yeah. I think that was after the next game is when we sort of lose a bit of momentum, don't we?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. That's a rewind
mate.
show for this week. Another little glimpse back at rubbish music in the charts and decent football on the pitch. Thank you, as ever, Dave. By the time you listen, watch this, you would have already listened to Dave regale over the match from.
Over
the Leicester match,
debatable penalty decisions, sendings off. Oh, it all goes. It's all going off. All going off.
Flagship show. So yes, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back. The guys will be back on Thursday evening. No. Yes, they'll be back on Thursday evening. I didn't know if we were doing it a different day this week. No, Thursday evening.
Thursday still. Yeah.
For the pre-match, and then Sunday night, as ever, for the flagship. So to discuss the happenings at Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Good stuff.
This has been the Rewind Show on Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. Cheers all. We'll see you in a bit.